Thank you for joining Effortless Attraction. My name is Evelyn McAleer. I'm the author of A Life You Want, Effortless, and The Woman's Journey. I'm a life coach, business mentor, and inspirational speaker. And my greatest value is making a difference in people's lives. So I hope through these podcasts, I can make a difference to your life.
Effortless Attraction Podcast is sponsored by Colette Leeson Interview and Career Coaching. If you dream of landing your ideal job, consider Colette's services. With a success rate exceeding 90% among her interview clients, Colette offers personalized career guidance and interview coaching discreetly, both online and in person. She also conducts workshops and provides career advice talks. For further details, visit ColetteLeeson.com.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another Effortless Attraction podcast. On today's show, I am joined by the beautiful Sarah Jayne, founder of The Self-Worth Secret. You'll find Effortless Attraction Podcast on all major podcast platforms, and if you'd like to watch today's video, you'll find it on Evelyn McAleer on YouTube. Sarah Jayne, it's an absolute pleasure to have you sitting here in Casa de Rosa for an Effortless Attraction podcast. How has your experience been so far?
It has been absolutely dreamy, Evelyn. I have thoroughly enjoyed coming out here. I'm very grateful to be out in your beautiful home and to be in this lovely sunshine in the Spanish hills. So it has been a pleasure to be here and to be able to fulfill something that is part of my dream.
Isn't that a wonderful thing? And I love when people's dreams become reality. But today, we're here on this podcast show to talk about your fine self. Now, you have a wonderful platform and you are the CEO and founder of The Self-Worth Secret. Now, for any of our listeners that perhaps don't know what self-worth is, can you explain to us in layman terms, what is self-worth?
Yeah, so self-worth, well, to me, is really your internal sense of self. And how I like to describe it to people, it's like, imagine a light in the centre of your chest. And as a light is meant to, it shines brightly. But sometimes due to life and different circumstances, our light can become dim or just completely out. So an important part of my journey was reigniting my own inner light and really finding that strong internal foundation that has been a core fundamental in every aspect of my life, and sort of to bring that joy back to me again so that I can wake up every day feeling happy, at peace and content, knowing that I'm being my true authentic self.
Authenticity. Sometimes it goes amiss in people's life, but what we've experienced with yourself this week is sheer confidence and flair in front of camera. Now, do you think, can people perceive others, they're so confident, they have it all, they're out there, but not know that I once lacked self-worth, or I'm working on myself to build that self-worth?
Yeah, I think it's sort of, when I look back at my life, I've always been very good in front of the camera, and for a large part of that time, in particular my 20s, I lacked self-worth but was still good in front of the camera. I was very much masking, maybe is the word, and there was just certain things that had happened in my life where I really had to look at, who is Sarah Jayne, who is her true self, and how does she want to show up and be seen. And it's the feeling, it's how you feel, never mind how you appear, it's how you feel within yourself. So for me, that was really important to find that again, for me to come home to myself. And now, as we were filming on the beach the day before yesterday, I just felt like I was the only person on that beach, and it didn't seem like it wasn't bothered by what people thought, because I just thought, this is my opportunity. I'm here for this small amount of time in this beautiful location, and this is my time to shine. So you just have to lean into that and get over the fear.
Well, fabulous. You said something there, that feeling of being home. And sometimes we take home as the bricks and the mortar and the roof over our heads, but it is a feeling ultimately, and that's what everyone is chasing in life. And sometimes we get mixed up and think, oh, if I have this, or if I have that, or if I look this way, I'll feel a certain way. But do you feel the work that you help your clients with and the work you've done for yourself, it's an inside out job, not outside in?
Yeah, definitely. I think, behind me creating the self-worth secret, that was on the back of my own personal journey, and I had did many years of self-development, and at the end of that, that's where I found the self-worth. It was a gentleman who I'd went to for some one-to-one sessions with regards to work. I just felt like no matter what I did, I never felt good enough. And he said to me, Sarah Jayne, why do you keep taking your power and giving it to other people? And for me, that was like a light bulb moment. I was like, this is life changing. So yeah, I think that looking back through especially the past 10 to 15 years of my life, I attach my worth to external things, having the job, having the nice car, having the nice house, going on loads of different lovely holidays, which was all fine and great, but internally I was still chasing something that I couldn't get from the external, and that was like loving myself, valuing myself, showing up for myself, being consistent with myself. So those are all really important things, and in creating that true self-worth from within.
Yeah. So whenever you conclude with that, and it's a beautiful thing, I see it for many people in their lives, when they finally figure out, hold on, it's me. I got to work about me and get to that stage where it doesn't matter what others think about me, stepping beyond that fear. How do you feel life has changed for you whenever you thought, I'm putting me first here?
Yeah, I think it definitely helped me step into like a growth mindset, and instead of asking, life is ups and downs and that is a given, but instead of asking why are these things happening to me, I was starting to ask myself, what is this teaching me, which was really beneficial for me.
Yeah, and you asking yourself that question, what is this teaching me, is you taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Because when we refuse to take responsibility, well then it's somebody else's fault. I don't have to do the work.
Yeah.
For any listeners, ladies in particular, if they have come to say, no, I don't have self-worth, I've been selling myself short, and I can see this through relationships, through work, through everything in life, what does all of that change when they discover that self-worth within themselves?
Yeah, I think when you value yourself, you have a greater appreciation for your sense of self and who you are. And within that, what's your personal values? What do you value about yourself? What do you value in others? How are you overgiven in your life, or maybe people pleasing, which would be like a common symptom essentially of low self-worth. And stepping into that power and knowing your value, knowing what you want, and whatever you want out of life, you have to give it to yourself first. So, giving yourself the love, giving yourself all those things to help you feel more empowered in your relationships, feel you more empowered in your career, and even just in the relationship with yourself. A lot of times I would say to my clients, when you look in the mirror, what feelings do you get? What's the little voice in your head tell you? And generally 9 times out of 10, it's not good. So it's about turning that around and looking at the core wounding as to, where did you learn to feel poorly about yourself, and then changing that story.
You said something there, when you figure out what you want, and I'm sure you've been privy to hear many a client, when you ask them what do you want, they can tell you what they don't want, but find it difficult. What do I want?
Yeah.
Was that the same for yourself?
I think sometimes it's like the fear holds you back from the dream. Could I do that, or is this all I'm meant to be? And for me, like I'm a nurse by core profession, but for me, when I was starting to set up my own business, I was like, okay, can I be something more than just a nurse, and expanding out into that. And it was once I started taking the aligned action towards that goal, doors started to open, and this is exactly why I'm sitting with you here right now. So yeah, I think it's about just taking the little baby steps towards something greater and something better.
And did that start by looking in the mirror and talking kindly to Sarah Jayne?
Yeah, I think for me, my journey, there's many reasons why I set up the self-worth secret, but one of them was because in my journey, it wasn't like the alphabet where you go from A to Z perfectly. I sort of went from A to D to P and back to A again. And what I really want to provide for women is not a structured process, because there's nothing perfectly runs like that in life, but just I know the path that I walked that would have maybe got me here a little bit quicker, but I had to learn some lessons. So it's very easy for me now, looking at another woman, for example, to be like, okay, I've been there, I felt that, and this is the way that you can, not escape, but navigate out through that to become a more enhanced version of yourself.
So what would you say to a woman who has seen your stuff on social media, this outgoing woman, this confident woman who's gorgeous, very photogenic, as Jim will agree.
I love a picture.
But sometimes then women will hold themselves back with that fear. What would I say to her? How do I reach out to her? Maybe I'm not good enough to speak to Sarah Jayne. What would you say to that woman that's listening today?
I think, I have been that woman who has, in all aspects of her life, woke up in the morning and just felt, I feel like so sad, so depleted. I felt like I didn't have the power or the control. I have been the woman who has sat in her office and work and just wanted to hide behind the door. And I have been able to work through those challenges. And I think what I like about myself personally is I like to be relatable. I like to meet people where they're at, because I have been in a lot of those spaces. And I'll always say, if you don't have hope, borrow a little bit of mine until you find it again. So I think, I like to consider myself a normal woman, and I have, come through this journey, but I've been guided to share my journey so I can help women evolve. And it's about loving all the versions of yourself. It's not like you're this version or that version. I am all the versions of me before now, which make me. I'm not too much, I'm not too little, and I have to love all those parts of me that even didn't get it right, who didn't show up for herself, who didn't make the best choices at times, who sometimes just didn't have a clue what she was doing, but that was life. So I really, in my coaching, it's really important for me, to communicate to women, you can love all those previous versions. They become part of you. You take it by the hand and you take it with you, and it moves forward.
Well, there we go. Listen to all that. There's a woman that no questions were scripted, and it just flowed effortlessly because it came from the heart, and because you're passionate about it, and it's your purpose to serve and to help others. And on this journey as well, the greater version of Sarah Jayne will step up more and more. You have a workshop coming up, Sarah Jayne. Who is that for?
Yeah, so I have a workshop coming up now in May, and it is for heart-led, soul-led entrepreneurs, or women who are starting businesses who just sometimes, I know with myself, you only think you have confidence until you have to start a business, and then you have to be even more visible. And it's like taking another layer off the onion, but it's also about remaining connected with yourself, knowing your worth, and showing up even when nobody is watching. Even if it's just a zero audience, and having that strength and that power to know that you're worthy, and that the message that you have, or what you're wanting to give to the world, is going to be received by whoever needs it.
Well, excellent. And I'm sure you'll be advertising that soon. So anybody that wants to see this lady in person, keep following her for more information. Sarah Jayne, you work with ladies on a one-to-one basis. Tell us all what you're doing.
Yeah, so at the minute I work with ladies on a one-to-one basis, and also on a group coaching basis as well. On the 22nd of February this year, I launched an online course, because I know from my own personal experience, people can get busy, jobs can not get in the way, but time can be an issue for a lot of women. And I wanted to create, a lot of women would message me and ask, Sarah Jayne, how do you manifest? How do you get there? How do you get into alignment? How do I get self-worth? So I created an online course which is called the Self-Worth Accelerator, Manifesting Abundance and Alignment, and that really helps guide women on that journey from uncovering their true worth and shifting their mindset, aligning with their higher self, and then living abundantly, waking up every day and seeing the gratitude in life for what they have right now, and leaning into that. But I also have an ebook too, because inner child healing is something that is really, it was really fundamental in my journey to heal the little girl inside of me. And when I created the Self-Worth Secret, I created it for her as well. so that she could speak her truth, so that she could stand in her power. So I really wanted to give us, it can be quite overwhelming when you talk about the inner child and not everyone might understand it. So it's a very simple ebook that can take the reader on a journey to try and reconnect with their inner child. Because sometimes in life, and I know in my experience, I'm just sometimes a little dysregulated girl in an adult body, and I had to learn to love her, to tell her she was safe, to take her by the hand and take her with me going forward.
Fabulous. And those are great for somebody dipping my toe. Let me test this out. And then from that also, if people want to work with you on a one-to-one, personally, a personal basis, you offer that as well as female group coaching.
Yeah.
So is there any particular length of time that people work with you on a one-to-one basis?
I recommend initially 4 to 6 weeks, and I like to assess on an individual basis what that particular woman needs, where she is. And as I say, I like to meet women where they are at. It's about what they want, where they feel they are in their journey and where they want to get to. So generally I think 4 to 6 weeks is a very good time just to start trying to reignite that spark again, to get that little flare going, and then elevate through that journey.
And what I love what it is that you do, Sarah Jayne, as well, everything that you have on offer is all affordable pricing. Yeah. From the ebook to the online course, to working with you one-to-one, and to your female group. You mentioned about businesswomen. Is it only for businesswomen or women?
Yeah, women in general. My workshop coming up is a collaboration, but that is for like entrepreneurs. But on a whole, I work with women who just want to reignite their spark, uncover their worth, step into their power, and just feel happiness and joy within themselves from an internal perspective.
Reignite the spark. How does it feel?
Yeah, I think it's very empowering. I feel very empowered in my life, and as I say, life is ups and downs, and I get tried and tested all the time with different external things, but it's about the ability and learning the ability to reset and understand your body and feel and understand your nervous system, which is a fundamental part of feeling, because life is so busy and you get so overstimulated. But when you're able to drive down the road and spot a bird on a tree, or see something really nice in the sky, or a light or a shape, and you're more present within yourself, I think that really does give you that inner peace and inner knowing. But that has took me some work and a lot of self-development to get to that point, but it's definitely achievable.
Yeah, it's, and they say when you start seeing greatness in everything, greatness starts coming to you. You start living a more gratified life. I've heard from many people that even when it came to finances, I might have the same finances in 6 months' time, but I'm more grateful for it.
I'm richer.
Instead of being in lack.
Yeah.
And that's, and you're a very independent woman. You have designed and created your own business. You have done a lot of all of the behind the scenes. You can easily and effortlessly present yourself in the greatest version that you are. I love being in the presence of women like yourself, Sarah Jayne. A lovely feminine energy that has empathy and compassion for all. But yet in all, that confidence and drive that some people lack a wee bit. And I know through your work that you're serving and you're helping other ladies to achieve what it is that they want to in life. So we shall conclude our podcast, and I'll let you have the final words. Well, I'll say thank you to everybody for listening. I'll let you have the final words on this, Sarah Jayne. What would be the greatest piece of advice that you could offer at this time? Something was offered to you maybe, and that you could offer to everyone else.
I would say nothing changes if nothing changes. If you don't make the small, even if it's just a small little change, you're going to stay in exactly the same place. But even having the self-awareness, knowing that you want something greater for yourself, that you want to feel better, you want to feel more confident, that's a small step, that's a small win, and then building on that. Because if you don't take a move, if you don't take the leap, and as I said, a lot of women say to me, how do you have the confidence? But it's just, having the courage in spite of the fear, and just taking the little step and moving forward.
So let everyone know how they can reach you, where you're at.
So on most socials, they connect with me on Instagram, which is sort of my main posting platform. And I've got my own website, which you can visit through the link in that profile. And then I'm a little bit on TikTok and a little bit on LinkedIn as well.
So all anyone has to do is search The Self-Worth Secret.
The Self-Worth Secret, yes, and I shall magically appear in front of you to change your life.
There you go. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to another Effortless Attraction podcast. I want to thank you, Sarah Jayne, for making the journey from Ireland to Spain. It's been an absolute pleasure and a really enjoyable experience. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been absolutely wonderful. And I'm delighted to be here and have been here and be on your podcast. It's definitely a privilege. Thank you.
If you are a coach, consultant, mentor, speaker, or therapist looking to establish or expand your business, we are seeking motivated individuals eager to enhance their potential through our services. We offer a professional promotional video, a photo shoot, a podcast, and engaging social media reels. Additionally, we provide an all-inclusive 4-night stay in Spain. So if this sounds like you, please get in touch. You can find our contact details in the description below.